Hello and welcome back to the Azure DevOps course. In this lesson, we'll explain the container jobs in the YAML pipeline. So what's a container job? A container job is a job that runs inside a container image. You can run it inside a public container image from Docker Hub or a private image from any container registry from your ACR, Azure Container Registry, from Docker Hub private repo. You can use the container job in both of them, in a public image or a private image. So I made a pipeline to show how to use the container jobs to use a public image or a private image. So let's go in the pipeline. So first, to make a container job inside a public Docker image, here in this job, instead of using the pool for the agent, we type container key, and under the container key, we type the image name. I typed here node:18. That is the public Docker image for Node.js version 18. And we can also give it options. Options here is the parameters. When you run a Docker container using Docker, you can give it flags here. I give it flag --user 0 to run this container as a root. So now this public Docker image will run as a root, and we can run our pipeline inside this public Docker image. So here in the steps, I made a script to show the Node.js version. So we can use different public images in our jobs. We can use like this, the Node.js with specific version. We can use .NET image with specific version. We can use Java with specific version. We can use any application that has a public image containerized inside Docker Hub and use it in our pipeline. So that's how to use a container job for a public Docker image. But what if you want to run your pipeline job from inside a private image that is inside your Azure Container Registry, inside the ACR? How to do this? To do something like this, you must define a container resource in the above here. In the resources key, you define a container. This is the alias name of the container, and you give the image URL with the registry URL and the image repo and its tag. And here the endpoint, that is the service connection that will authenticate with your private repo. That is how you authenticate with your private repo. This endpoint can be for a private Docker repo or for your Azure Container Registry. So we can use service connection for both of them. So here that is the image URL for our shopping front end container with this tag. This container has our .NET Core front end application artifact in the staging environment. So if you go here in the container registry, that's our registry in the repos, shopping front end repo. That is the tag I'm using. I click on the tag. That is the URL that I'm using. I copied it and put it here in the image. This service connection was made during the classic pipeline section. If you go here in the project setting, in the service connection, here we have a service connection called ACR. It is the registry connection. If I click on edit, it's connected with our Azure Container Registry. So we use this service connection to authenticate with the Azure Container Registry. So if I return back, so you first define the container resource here with the endpoint and the image, and then you use it in your job. You type the container alias name in the container key in the job. That is the container alias. So you can run our pipeline from our shopping front end container image. So what I have done here, that I made a script to ls the /app directory. This /app directory should contain the shopping front end artifact files. We should see the exe and the dll files here, the /app directory. So that's all for this pipeline. Let's try and run it. The two jobs run in parallel. They are both running now. For the shopping front end container, if you click on the ls script, here it shows us the artifact files, the DLLs and the exe file here. So it really run the job from inside our container image. And for the public Node.js image, if we go to the script that shows us the Node.js version, it has version 18 Node.js. So that's all for this lecture. We have learned how to run our jobs inside a public container image or a private container image. I hope you enjoy it and see you in the next lecture.